So what's up, everybody? As you can see, who've watched my streams before, doing something a little bit different tonight. This is the first time I've tried streaming to multiple platforms, and I've also got the webcam tonight, and just trying a few different things. So be patient. Really appreciate your guys' support and stuff like that. We'll see if this works. If so, if not, we'll tweak it and try it next time. So, all right, I've got my big screen over here, so if you see me looking over here, that means I'm trying to keep up with chat. I'm still not quite sure how all this stuff works. I'll have to pick Lady Devon's head and see if she can teach me the ways of streaming Senpai. So anyway, all right, thanks guys for following along, and we'll see how it goes. So all right, what I'm working on tonight is I'm doing a little bit of the Venom and Carnage. Let me try to get chat up over here. The Venom and Carnage body painting shoot that I did yesterday with Melanie and Mike and Aaron Fox. There we go. I am extremely happy with how it turned out, and can't be prouder than what I am for working with these super talented people, and really appreciate them coming all the way up to the studio and all that good stuff. So thank you guys very much. Okay, says I'm on Twitch and Facebook and Periscope. That it's giving me something weird about Periscope. So can you guys hear the sound and everything like that okay? Leave a comment below, let me know, and I will try to find out how to read those. Hey Abe, checking it out. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. So, alright, well, first thing I'm going to do, once I get my chat and stuff like that up, looks like it's sending it to YouTube, so yay. Live now, cool. Cool. Yeah, I'll have to work on getting all this stuff set up and configured and stuff, but I mean, what better way than to just jump in and try it, right? I mean, won't be the first time I made a fool out of myself. So you guys saw some of the stuff that we released. We have not released a lot of the Carnage stuff, as in the character, not the act of killing and maiming and whatnot. So I won't be having any music tonight. I've been having some difficulty with music as far as like not copyright strikes, but basically them muting my streams and stuff. So not going to do that. I'm looking at a few other free options that don't give me crap until such point in time. You just got to hear my stupid head talk, so sorry about that. But anyway, I'll show you guys some of the finals that I got edited yesterday. Whenever we were working yesterday, Michael was the first one, and he was Carnage, so they got his body paint done first, while Mel was in there getting painted. So we went ahead and did a single session with him, and we got some really cool pictures, and very proud of them. And whenever we got done, we still had a little bit of time, so I streamed them to my TV here at the studio and went ahead and edited them. So you guys will get a sneak peek at stuff that is not released yet. So like I said, I'm super duper proud. It's cutting off the bottom of it just a little bit to give room for all the other stuff that I have going on the screen, but working on that. And I've also got a fog machine at the studio, so I've been working with that a little bit and kind of putting the colored pop to it, so that it has a little bit more depth to it. I don't know why that one's rotated around. Anyway, it's not supposed to be that way. And I wanted to really get him like tearing at his symbiote and stuff like that, because if you're familiar with Spider-Man and with the the character of Carnage, he's Cletus Cassidy was his name, and he's basically a psychopath, just like totally. He was a murderer. He was in prison. And just completely. So I really wanted to get some of that, and he pulled it off tremendously. Got some really good pain faces, and some of the battle sequences that we did between him and Melanie's Venom later on, really good stuff. So he wanted to do a particular pose with Carnage, to where he was like you know, kind of doing that Spider-Man crawl with the hands down, and I thought that that was pretty darn cool. So we got some. It was a little tricky to light because you kind of balance, you know, keeping the background dark like I do with my normal style, but still being able to get enough light up and underneath of it. Because typically, whenever you shine light up and towards your person, whenever they're down low like that, it tends to kind of get onto the background, and I don't want that. I want that super dark. So took a couple shots playing around, but you know, we got it. And so this was fun. Carnage has these really crazy looking fingers. Basically, his symbiote can make any shape that he wants to, and he has a bad habit of making his fingers into like these giant knife looking things, or giant just like spiky looking twisty fingers. So we had some extra black foil around the shop, so I just kind of made them into hands to kind of give something a little bit more elongated than the just the typical fingers and stuff like that. Two of my 5 favorite comics. Awesome, Abe. I absolutely love Maximum Carnage. Was one of the first comic arcs that I actively collected. And whenever I told Mel that, whenever we were kind of like, okay, you know, do you want to do the shoot and stuff like that? And she's like, are you familiar with the characters? I'm like, bro, yeah. So I was super duper happy with you know, being able to shoot this, because like I said, this is something that is near and dear to my heart, because this is something, you know, I used to collect comic books. And hey, we got a bunch more people coming in now. Welcome, guys, welcome. So this particular shot was one I really wanted, and if you look closely here, this is the eye that was actually painted, and this is the after image of it. What I did is, if we take a look at the settings, I had a really slow shutter speed, and what I did was I had some light coming in on it so that he was just a little bit exposed, and I had a slow shutter speed, and as I clicked it, I have 1/8 of a second is what this right here means, from whenever it opens and closes. 1/8 of a second doesn't sound like much, but for photography stuff, that is like super slow, especially for handheld. So what I did was I did that, had my flash pop, and then I zoomed it. So the effect that you get is you see one clearly defined, because that's where the flash pops and hits the person. I keep wanting to say the victim. We're talking about like that's. Hey, Melanie, she's in the room. Melanie Smith in chat. She's our Venom from, almost said Venom tonight, Venom from last night. So show her some love, guys. But anyway, I really wanted to kind of get that particular effect. And if you look right here, this is kind of a bonus. It gives, like, this right here is the exposed line of where he is. And then because of that little zoom, you see this as an after effect. So you can get some really trippy stuff. We had a little bit more red light over here, so that's why that showed up more prominently. But like I said, if you kind of drag the shutter is what it's called, and then zoom just a little bit, especially with the teeth up here. I mean, I think that gave like a really, really interesting interesting vibe to it. Very happy with how those turned out. And I was the same effect like right here, and it gave, if you're familiar with Carnage, you know, you've got the symbiote and stuff. Hey, Michael's in the chat. That's our Carnage from last night, guys. We got them both in here. What's up, Caitlin? How's it going? Can you guys hear me okay? I checked my mic volume. Audio is not my thing. Photography is my jam. So really sorry if the mic is like all over the place, but I'm trying, guys. I'm sorry. So this is similar to the last one. I had some lights coming in from both sides, and I you know, 1/4 of a second on this one, so it was twice as much time as the last one. Hey, Caitlin. Hey, girl. And I did a zoom. I don't remember whether it was a zoom in or out, which effect kind of makes it bigger, but it gives that really trippy looking almost symbiote tendrils and stuff like that. And if you look closely, like right here is his eye, and then right here is the after image of the eye. So especially if you have all right, cool, Mike. If you have something like fire spinners or something like that, or even something where you've got some ambient light that you have to mix with your flash, whenever your flash pops, the purpose of the flash is to freeze it. That's going to basically, not no matter what the shutter speed is, because there are exceptions, but the shutter speed basically works with how much ambient light you have there. If you want it, you make it a little bit longer, but you have to kind of balance that with your flashes. So it can be tricky, but if you really work with it and practice, then you can get some really cool effects. Hey, what's up, Eric? So anyway, that's some of the ones in particular. Right here's another one, same thing. This right here, so we've got his face, and right over here, real crisp. And this, so let me brag on my boy Mike here for just a second. He has a full sleeve down here, like full sleeve of like basically like the Spider-Man coloring and the suit and everything like that. So this texture you see here, yeah, that's a tattoo. That's nuts. It's like super cool. So I love dealing with people who are fans of the characters that they're portraying. Dude, you outdid yourself, man. What are you talking about? But I'm really happy with the you know, being able to do this with people who are fans. And this was just like a close-up shot specifically for Erin, so we could really show off the fantastic body painting and stuff like that she did. But you know, we got a real crisp shot on here, and you know, obviously since we've got the white eyes painted, you know, we were going for a that was kind of one of the conversations before was, do you want to go full symbiote or do you want to go like partial transformation? So it's kind of like, you know, reaching across the face, and that's what they decided, and I am so glad because it really added some pop to it. Not that it needed it. You guys freaking killed it, man. But hey guys, we got 7 people in here. So now we move on to Mel. This is our Venom last night, and check the detail work on this Venom tongue right here. That just freaking blew my mind. I know that eye though. And we opted for on her to do with the jaw kind of like unhinged, and we had some fun with that later on. I'll show you some shots that you guys haven't seen before, because that's what we're going to be editing tonight. So anyway, that one was really cool. I was extremely happy with, you know, a lot of times with Venom, people think, you know, black costume, just black. The blue, the drool, yeah. Hey Beth, what's up? What's up, Rodney? How's it going, man? I am working on the rest of the gallery that I was talking to you about, and we'll have your goodies here soon, my dude. So, with Venom, it's extremely important to include the blue, because, you know, that's basically the suit is blue and black. It's with comic books, you know, they work weird ways with colors to show highlights, but this particular shade of blue was, I mean, that's iconic to the character. And like I said, I'm just really happy with the way that it turned out, because it worked really well with my lighting. And yeah, the drool and the just the level of detail that was in this was astounding. Everybody really outdid themselves. I think it was a perfect amalgamation of all of our styles. So this shot here, you can tell if you look at it, but this side over here is Mike. This side is Mel. So I took a shot, split it down the middle, put them together. That was something that they were interested in, so I did that real quick last night. And I had red highlights coming up. That was Mike's idea. Thanks, man. Hey, thanks, Eric. Appreciate it, dude. So, what's up, Dorsey? And then I had blue on Carnage to kind of give like a contrasting pop to it. So here's the before, and then this is the shot that I cut, and then that's the one with him. Which even that shot, I kind of like it with the contrasting blue. This was one of my favorite shots from the whole thing, and I have another one. I call it the yin yang shot, and you'll see why in a little bit. It's got kind of like their hands reaching over like that. That's one that I'm going to be editing tonight. I'm really happy with the way that it turned out, because it's similar to this, and it shows it really shows the interaction between the symbiotes, because that's what that's what their characters did. You know, it wasn't just, you know, her punching and stuff like that. It was always like this intermingling of them whenever they fought and kind of got into it. So I was really happy with the lighting on this. I had some, you know, as you guys can tell, we had a little bit of fog behind. I had a blue flash going in, red flash on this side to kind of give the good contrasting colors on either side. Then I had one of my flashes in a softbox coming straight down to kind of give this real dramatic look. And that's really what makes the muscle tones and stuff like that pop, is the positioning of the overhead flash. So this is the mad scientist right here behind the body paint. This is Erin Fox. She is fantastic, like holy freaking crap. Her work is amazing. And if you guys don't know her name, Google her, look her up, ARYN Fox Body Paint. It just will absolutely just freaking blow your mind. But she's worked with some very talented friends of mine. I've got to shoot some of her stuff without even, you know, having met her before. My friend Mariah, she had been painted as Poison Ivy, and I was really, really happy with that shoot, and that's featured on Erin's Facebook page. So if you go check that out, you'll be able to see that. But even with this, you guys can see the blue over here to kind of give some separation, and Erin being herself, and then you know, Mel going in for the big venom bite with the chin. And this was us. This was my attempt at a selfie with all of us. So had a really, really good time. And that's kind of the ones that we've got edited so far. And now let's turn these filters off and let's get cranking at it. So we've got all the individual Carnage ones. I did all the ones that I was going to. I was going to do Instagram Live too, but I think that's too much to juggle. Hey, thanks, man. I've really been working with the fog here lately to try to up my game a little bit, and it gives me a lot of stuff that I can play with, and you know, it just kind of adds some new stuff to it. So, hey, Reed, what's up, man? Thank you, Mel. Mel just put Erin's Instagram in the chat, so go ahead and check that out. She does some really, really dope work, and appreciate that, and appreciate her and you. Thanks, Mel. So, alright, like I said, the Carnage is done. We got that yesterday. I recorded the Carnage session. I'm going to be uploading that here soon with some edits and stuff like that to it, to where you guys can see as I'm taking pictures. It'll have it popping up next. What my goal is to be able to figure out a way to do that wirelessly. It's wireless tethering. Don't have all the stuff that I'll need for that, but I'm working on that, because what I want to do is have this set up like you guys see over here, and then also have like off to one side, to where as I'm shooting it, it's popping up the images. You'll be able to see a webcam feed of what I'm shooting, and then just be able to kind of roll that right into the editing and stuff like that later on. So, all right, man, get your edit on, Abe. I appreciate you stopping by. Thank you, man. So, all right, let's go ahead and pick a couple. Here's one in particular. Typically, whenever I shoot just a series of them that looks similar like this, there's 3 of them in a row. That's kind of where I do one of them, take a picture, then do another one, and kind of slowly adjust. So, with the first one, I wasn't getting enough light over here on her hand, so I had her reach towards me, and I readjusted to where this wasn't quite as much in frame, and then I thought the blue lights that we have over here was too visible, so I had to move her hand just a little bit to block those. Really happy with that one, so we are going to go ahead and do a quick edit on this. I try to shoot my stuff to where it doesn't need a whole lot of editing. Especially it's fortunate that I shoot with the it's called low key style. It's basically like real dark. Basically I just take everything down to shadows, and then I light up what I want to show up, and basically if it doesn't have a light on it, it's a pure black picture, because it doesn't have any light, doesn't show up, and that's the way that I like it. So get rid of that. And I shoot weird and I edit weird, so I'm using radial filters a lot. And if you guys have watched me edit before, you know that I do that a ton, to just kind of really quickly get the instead of using the brush and going back and forth and having to change the opacity and all that stuff, I will just put the radial filters in here and pop and be done with it. So I'm just getting the spaces between her fingers right now. Okay, that looks pretty good right there for that. So I apologize for anybody in chat on the other services. I'm basically just trying to follow along with the Facebook chat right now. I will try to find a good way to juggle multiple services and stuff like that. Still working on that. I'm new to this streaming stuff, but I just want to be able to get you all to where you can just take a look at, you know, some of the behind the scenes stuff. Everybody seems to enjoy it for whatever reason. This is kind of the sucky part. There we go. I was wondering, I was like, why am I so dark? It's because my light's pointed the opposite direction. So anyway, I would just kind of like to pull the curtain back a lot of times, because cosplayers, you guys seem to enjoy this stuff just like I really enjoy seeing your work in process stuff and your videos of the stuff that you find tedious. I find it exciting. You know, I love being able to see what you're doing. That's a little too much. Be able to see what you're doing, what you're working on, and what you all make stuff out of never ceases to astound me. You know, I keep bringing him up, but Nightmage, that man's a freaking genius with foam and with the you know, painting and the other stuff that he uses. It just never ceases to amaze me how he makes what he makes out of what he does. So, all right, before, after, like I said, not a lot of editing, but just kind of making the colors pop. And I had somebody tell me once that my style looks like a comic book. Thank you. That's an extreme compliment, because that's actually kind of what I model this particular effect after. I really want to be able to kind of get the vibrant colors and the, you know, the angles and even the body positioning and stuff like that, like in the old comics. I grew up really enjoying those with the contrast and the punch and stuff like that. So I have no clue what this is, but we're gonna get rid of that. And I'm not really going into details on what I'm doing and the settings I'm using and most of the stuff that I use over here, especially with the filter. Like this stuff down through here is custom. Anything with TBD is stuff that I've specifically made in Lightroom for my purposes, and it works really well for my style. But Melanie said Mike got home and I literally yelled for him to get to the couch to watch this. I'm so glad you like it. But this one right here didn't really need a whole lot, but as you guys can see on the left to the right, there's just the you know, contrast basically. Big bump in contrast, plus 40. Lots and lots of clarity. I love working with clarity, and for stuff like this you can kind of get a grungy look if you're not careful. Well, grungy is what I'm going for with this, so that actually works out really well. This is like an iconic Spider-Man / Venom Spider People type pose, you know, with the crouching down and the big stretch. Melanie is really good at twisting and contorting and stuff like that, so we was able to get some really cool poses that normally wouldn't have access to with people who aren't quite so limber and stuff. So having a contortionist be one of your models is really handy, because then they can really get into the character poses. Like she was snaking her hand underneath some of the one of her legs for some of the later shots. I'm just sitting there, it's like, holy crap. And that's the fog machine back there. That's the only bad thing, is that anything with white, even if it's white lettering or white t-shirts or whatever, if I'm shooting in hallways, really shows up. So that's something I've kind of had to get through my head, that I need to watch for, is the white stuff and stuff like that to show up. Get rid of some of that. There we go. My nose has itched all day long, and if I sneeze, I'm sorry. I normally cut it out and add it to bloopers, but hey, live stream, what do you do? Speaking of bloopers, I just put a video up for my Dudist Colony group of people that has you know, said that they want early access to some of the stuff that I release, and I really appreciate that. But I put a video up on 3 tips that you can do to save money on your convention trips. So that is something I've been working on for a while now. Hey, thanks, Eric. I appreciate it, man. Ooh, Mrs. Dude's in the chat. Hey, sweetie, how are you? And see, a lot of times you won't know whenever something is a bit too much, as in like too brightness or too much brightness or whatever. You kind of want, especially with the body paint and stuff like that, you want that kind of shadow play for the style that I was working with specifically anyway. So that one, I like that one. And kind of the purpose of you know, taking multiple shots is always to kind of get it refined just a little bit tighter and closer to what you see in your head, so you have to do less editing. And yeah, I mean, you can go through and edit every one of them, but I mean, you know, it's just kind of a waste of time if the next shot is you know, you tightened it up just a little bit more. And it could be a matter of moving the light just like 6 inches closer to the person, or moving it this way, or moving it off to the side, so instead of being super on there, it's feathered a little bit. Super excited to see the post-edit forward shots. Yeah, man, got some pretty darn cool stuff coming up for that. This was a special project. This was my October. Basically, what I'm wanting to do before I kind of explain that, I really want to start doing one like specific project shoot per month. Then that way I have plenty of content to where I can put something like that on here, and to be able to kind of put this out there so people can see you know, this is what I do, and really showcase the artwork of some other people instead of it's just me. This is something that we're collaborating on for that month. And like I said, once I get my live stream set up and stuff like that done, then that's going to be what I plan on doing, is have like one live stream of the actual shoot, have another live stream of like me culling through there and doing some minor edits and stuff, and even, you know, setting up galleries and stuff like that, because that's something that's kind of hey, thanks, Eric. I appreciate that, man. Yeah, Mel's just like losing her mind over here. She's like, oh my god. And Mel, if you want me to keep that, just let me know. I've been taking it out. I didn't know what you wanted, so, you know, force of habit, sorry. I always thought that piercing looked like that would hurt. I can't stand having anybody, like, you know, touch the top of my ears. It's real sensitive. Hey Kelly, how's it going? Welcome. And like I said, if I've got people talking in chat on, you know, God, what am I on? YouTube. If it's like in YouTube, and I think I'm on Twitch tonight. Not entirely sure. I found a service to where I can broadcast to multiple places, and as soon as I did, I like immediately set it up. Okay. Thanks, Melanie. I hear "Hello, Sweetie." I think of my wife's ringtone, because we're big Whovians, and that's her ringtone for me. Oh. I can tell right now I'm gonna have a sore throat from all this talking. How do like streamers do that? I mean, there's like, it's a gift of gab, I guess. I mean, I can whenever I'm in person with somebody, that's one thing, but just kind of, it's almost like talking to myself, especially if I can't read chat. I think that's why I really wanted to have some chat up. Hey, thanks, Kelly. I appreciate it. This was a shoot that we did yesterday, actually, and live streamed a lot of the shoot, and I'm trying some different stuff to where, like I was telling everybody, I'll take one project a month, and I will live stream the shoot and then live stream the edits and all that good stuff. So you all get to see from start to finish what goes into, you know, beyond just the photography and the techniques and stuff like that. Specifically, how shots are lit is what I want to do for the photographers, and lots of tea is the secret, and water. But you know, there's a lot to it that goes into, just like with cosplay. I mean, you all have so much that you go into, that you do beforehand. Your work starts, it's like you have all this work before a convention or before a shoot or before a project, and then whenever we get to the project, our work kind of overlaps for a little bit. It's like this right here. This is all your hard work, then our work overlaps, and then this is like after the convention. This is all the photographer's hard work, and that's good because, you know, you can go home and kind of sigh of relief, and you know, that's when we start getting the, hey, how are the pictures coming along? How are the pictures coming along? And I'm like, yeah, that's part of the thing, but that's also one of the reasons why I set up a work queue Facebook post that I keep. I try to, hey Jessica, how's it going? Welcome. That I try to keep updated on basically what I'm working on, like tonight after I get a handful of these done and ready to post, because I've got them going out to a couple different galleries. Melanie, you did not know that yet, but got these going out to a couple different people tonight to share. And once we get that done, then I got some pictures. I get to start on my orders and stuff with my bud Jake, because he's got some pretty cool. I think he was Guts from Berserk and Junkrat for the studio shoot that we did here recently, if I remember right. I think that's the set that I'm working on tonight. So you guys are in for a treat. He is one of the best Junkrats that I have ever seen. Really, really, really fantastic. And hey, Seth, what's going on, man? And he even does the voice. I'm not even going to try to do the voice, but he does the voice. He has the mannerisms. He is Junkrat. He's like literally the best Junkrat I've ever seen. I've seen a lot of Junkrat cosplayers. So I think that's pretty cool right there. So while I'm doing this, has anybody besides Melanie, I know you have, has anybody else seen the Venom movie, and what did you think of it? I'm pretty excited. Jake's shoot was so cool to watch. Hey, yeah, that was really, really, yeah, that's right, because you was the one right after that, so it was, or before, I don't remember. Yeah, his voice was spot on, man. But, yeah, Eric was here at the studio. I will book a lot of studio shoots, since the convention center for Columbus, Ohio is 5 minutes away from my studio. I'll go over there and shoot during the day at the convention to get the people who are over there. Then take a couple hours where I go eat with friends, and I will take like from 9 o'clock till midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning, I will open up sessions so people can book shoots over here at my studio, which I'll be doing for OhioCon in January. Probably open up shoots starting later on this week, but that'll be for my Patreons and the people in my Dudist colony. That was a joking name for the group that kind of stuck. So, you know, but they get first crack at my schedule, and then after that I'll be releasing it to the world. So everybody will be able to have a chance to get in on it. And I think that one's done. Now we got some jump shots coming up, and I was really, really happy with the jumping. And I'll crank up the exposure so you guys can see the ground. Should get some decent height on that. So, like I said, you know, people think a lot of times that you have to have like a really, really fast shutter, and to get a good jump shot, you have to be like, okay, pop, 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 pop. It's just learning how to wait for your shot, how to kind of watch it, and knowing how your flash interacts with the person. And all of my jump shots are never the rapid fire pop 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 type stuff. It is always watching, and same thing with cape flips and stuff like that. Hey Jackie, hey Lindsay, what's going on? I have 7 people watching me do this. Don't you guys have something better to do tonight? This is the boring part, man. Darken that up. I'm just joking. I appreciate you guys. Thanks for watching. Never ceases to amaze me how people are interested in this stuff whenever it's not your craft. You know, it's something mysterious and, oh wow, I always wondered about this. Like, I could sit and watch cosplayers paint and do their stuff. Like, I love to watch Brittany Ganoza's streams. She does really cool painting work, and to see just the level of detail that she puts into it, and her as she's kind of thinking through it and talking it out, it's really cool. Currently making pizza rolls and alcoholic beverages. Oh my god. Hey Kelly, I'm glad you like it. Thank you. I hope to be doing this a lot more, because right now I'm staying at the studio probably a couple nights a week, because I live 2 hours away from my job. So as much as I hate being away from my family that much, this is kind of a, you know, a balance for right now. So I'll be staying up here at the studio. I haven't really decided for sure what days and stuff, but I'll try to get a regular schedule and try to get a regular schedule going, and that way you guys will know when to. Oh, see, that's too much. I don't like that. I was wanting to get a little bit of ground so you could see how high she was jumping, but I don't think so. It just looks weird with the ground. There we go. Oh man. Alright, and then we get to start working with fog and stuff down here. So this one right here, she said she was going to jump straight up, and I did not know how high this girl was going to jump, but she got some serious height because her arm shot out of frame, and I was like, okay, I'm going to need you to do that again. So let me see if I can up this. Yeah, she was like 4.5 feet off the ground just about. It was like, it was an impressive jump. I was taken aback, as they say. But was really happy with the way that it turned out, and we, you know, each one of us, since we knew the character, we kind of was bouncing off each other for ideas as far as, well, what if you did this pose, that would look kind of cool. It's, oh yeah, that pose would look cool, and what about this pose over here? And so it was just really neat to be able to have, like I said, have somebody who knew the character, to where you could geek out and just talk about, you know, a character that we all really like. Excuse me, sorry, a little sleepy. And there we go. And this is always a pain whenever this pops out of the backdrop, because then I've got to work around it a little bit, but this is, for this shot, it's worth it. You know, it's some detail work whenever I break out the brush tool, because I hate the brush tool. It's not nearly as effective for my particular style as the radial filter tool, but sometimes you just need a little bit more finesse than what it can give, so. This is my first time working with body paint. Jumps impressed me. It impressed me too, Mel. You did awesome. So, alright. That's there. And now we're going to move into some of the fog stuff. I'll come back. They got other jumps and stuff, which she did very well at, but I'm really excited and anxious to get into some of the fog stuff, so. And I had the fog machine down here, so I'd have to spray the fog and then kind of wait because we had to have the air conditioning system on. So it was blowing the fog around and just basically being a general pain in the butt. And I think that one's a cool one. We'll work with that one. I still can't get over that mouth, how freaking detailed that is. That's insane. Everybody did such an awesome job. It's like I said, whenever you get people who each love what they do, it really shows in their work because they're all bringing their A game to it. And whenever you get that many talented people doing what they love to do and being able to really have a kind of a showcase for it to where they know that just as hard as I work on my part, you're going to work that hard, or more on your part, you're going to work that hard. Hey, we had a bunch of people. Hey, Megan, Jenny, James. Megan, I get to see you this weekend for your wedding, girl. Are you ready? I'm super excited. I get to shoot weddings. I get to shoot nerds. So much stuff going on. And maybe some fitness stuff coming up. Really excited for that, too. I have... wanted to start getting more into the fitness scene because my style works really well for it. Just being able to get timing and stuff like that worked out. Also, I'm talking to somebody about possibly doing a Lady Joker and Male Harley shoot here in Columbus at a nightclub maybe. So that will be really, really cool. Super excited for how that turns out. And the idea of this was to have the flash kind of give that blue light back there. Hey, Jenny. But didn't quite get that unshot. I did get the smoke the way that I liked it. So you can use in Lightroom, you can kind of use the color section down here, which I don't see very many people using. But you can kind of do that to add some color to whatever you're doing and give it some pop. So pretty happy with whenever I found that out because that's super duper handy. That's just about good there. But yeah, I'm pretty stoked to see the Venom movie. I've heard mixed reviews on it, but a lot of yes, she is extraordinarily dynamic in her poses, and yeah, the body paint was really, really, really good. I am just so excited for everybody all the way around. It was just an amazing experience. If you get a chance to ever do something like that, that's like, well, you know, I think I might want to do some of that, but I'm not really sure how. Just give it a shot, you know. I mean, I've never done body paint, never shot. Correction, I'd shot a little bit of body paint, but that was on the con floor, so that's kind of a different experience than having the studio and, you know, being able to really take the time to set up your shots, and yeah, it looks a little better. And stuff like that. My eye was being drawn to that for some reason, so OCD. That's cool. But yeah, the posing and stuff like that was really on point. I was super duper happy with it. And Mel is a true artiste, so if you guys have a modeling gig where you need to hire somebody or collaborate or work with somebody or whatever with her, she would be a fantastic fit for that. 'Cause she, like I said, she has really good ideas and is just really, really cool to work with. I don't say that about very many people because, well, I mean, I say it about most of the people that I work with. I always work with a really good crowd, and you guys are awesome, but that's kind of like sticking your neck out whenever you're telling, you know, just a live stream and some strangers. It's like, hey, you know, she's awesome, go work with her. But, you know, just had a really good vibe about the shoot, very professional, and still being able to be professional and be an absolute goofball, aces. That's what we want. There it is. Track these little flares down. I just want her to paint abs on me because I'm like, that's the only way I'm ever gonna get abs is that. So I'm gonna be doing a few more of these, but I'm gonna skip ahead and get some of the. Here's one of the contortionist type ones that I was talking about. She got like a really good stretch on. I don't know if I got a. There it is. I was like, I don't know how you're able to do that. I can't bend down that far because my belly gets in the way. And here is also some of the after image type stuff that I was explaining earlier with the slow shutter speed and stuff like that. So you've got her arm here and here. You've got her real face here. Then you've got like an after image of her face here, and that's what this is this is basically all the light that's coming in from the sides. That's the ambient light. That's what it would look like without any flash. The flash just kind of like freezes as I'm pointing to the screen that y'all can't see. Freezes this part right here in place. So that's why it's really important to get your flash balanced right and to kind of do the sucky part and do your due diligence ahead of time, because that's what's going to it's really going to make your shots pop. Like that one. We got the train going by over here at the studio. It's got a train that runs by pretty regularly. I'm glad that I have slept next to a main road for a while, because yeah, Jenny, it's awesome poses. She did really, really good. Hey Heather, how's it going? Welcome. It's like we kind of have people rotating in and out. Appreciate your guys' time. I know that's there's a lot of other options out there, so thank you for watching me do this. I love doing it. I love sharing other people's art and my art with people, and just enjoy being able to do what we do, because there's so many people that are trapped in life and don't feel like they can, or they're not allowed to do anything fun, other than they think fun, well, that costs money and this and that. Fun, just find what you do and you'll figure it out. But that's the kind of nerve-wracking part, is you won't know until you just do it. You just got to go out and try things and find something that fits your jam, Mine just happens to be shooting nerds in body paint and spandex. But good night, babe. I love you. Everybody, Kiki Smith, Mrs. Dude. She has to get up early with the kids and all that good stuff, so appreciate her swinging by and seeing what and all manner of trouble I'm getting into. Here's another one that I was kind of, as I was shooting, I had a slower shutter speed, so I was like at 1/3 of a second for this one, handheld, and I'd kind of do that and just drag it off to the side, because I had lights coming in from the side here and here, and I wanted that after image effect that you get like right here. So we're gonna pump that up a little bit, because I really, really like how that looks. And to draw your eye in, I told somebody once, I've looked at a lot of like Renaissance painters and stuff like that. As weird as that sounds for what I'm doing, the principles still apply. They used a lot of the darker tones towards the edges, and then the lighter tones and stuff like that really popped towards the middle, so it kind of drew your eye in specifically to what they wanted you to look at. And I just kind of do the same thing, so. But they did it way better. So I'm probably going to do, after this one, 2 more pictures with Melanie, and then I'm going to get started working on my orders. I will stream for a little bit into those, but some of the stuff, for privacy reasons and stuff like that, whenever I start making galleries and, putting up passwords and stuff like that, I'm not going to be streaming that. So, but I will kind of show you guys what I got going there. I really, really like the blue on that. And you can see the symbiote there as well. That's really cool. I did an effect like this for, hey, thanks, Melanie. Glad you like it. Hey, what's up, Edwin? Welcome, man. So this effect I've been working on for like the Flash and other places that do the you know, like super speed and stuff like that, to where I can get that kind of motion effect in camera and don't have to Photoshop it. I've got some really extreme examples of that I did at C2E2 with my buddy Remy LaCosplay a couple years ago. That's by far the best flash slash Speed Force type pictures that I've got. Really proud of those, but I don't have them here ready and able on my screen. So there we go. Pretty happy with that one. So let's pick a couple more. There was one in particular that I really wanted to do. Excuse me. There was a yin yang picture is what I called it, because you had her arm reaching up, kind of mingling the arms here, and then his arm reaching down like here, and it kind of like wrapped around itself, and it's kind of, I was really happy with the way that looked. So be editing this one for the galleries. And I've got to get to bed at a somewhat decent time tonight because I need to get up at like 4 for work in the morning. Hey, thanks, Kelly. I appreciate that. Draw a lot of inspiration from a lot of other artists. I don't remember. I'm drawing a blank on the artist who does a lot of like Batwoman and stuff like that. Because whenever I've shot with Belcher, Alex Ross, maybe? Is that it? Is that the right one? Caravaggio. Sounds like fancy food. Whenever I got to shoot with my buddy Belcher, she had her Batwoman, and the lighting, you know, she kind of took her cape and draped herself in the cape and had chin down just a little bit like that, and I lit it top down, and that's really about the only lighting that I had on that one. And, you know, whenever she posted it, there was a lot of people, it's like, oh man, this looks like a, you know, hey Gianna, how's it going? And a lot of people was like, oh, this looks like a such and such painting, this looks like a such and such painting. And, you know, there was actually one person who actually did a painting of that picture, so I was like totally blown away whenever somebody sees enough inspiration from the stuff that you know, we create together. It's very much never a me thing. It's always a we thing, you know. And that's kind of the not joke, but the analogy that I use is I was like, it's never like I am Venom. It's like we are Venom. You know, we are more together whenever we do what we do. Because if it wasn't for you guys, I would have to be like, I probably wouldn't be doing photography, to be perfectly honest. Because I quit there for 8. Ooh, yeah, pasta primavera. Now you're just making me freaking hungry. I've got pizza breadsticks that's left over in the fridge over there with all the gluten in them. We want pizza with extra gluten, please. So I'm really happy with the way that one looks. I'm going to crop this in a little bit tighter than I normally would, because I want that that in the middle to just be like really strong and straight right there in the center. Very happy with the way that turned out. That's one of those things that kind of makes you look 2 or 3 times. It's like, wait, what's going on there? Back that up just a little. There we go. Get that little start of the arch of the back. Yep, love that. And for any of you photographers or Lightroom users out there, whenever I'm done, I always set, just push the number key 5, and that sets my rating to 5. That's just kind of like my code for, hey, this is totally done, ready to export, good to go. So, okay. That's a pretty cool one. And the ones that you guys are seeing are just pretty much straight from camera. I've got a base setting that I use that just kind of puts like you know, some contrast to it, a little bit of punch. No glutens. I shall eat all the gluten for you. but to show you guys what it looks like just straight out of camera with nothing whatsoever to it. It's just that. So my setting that brings it in, as you guys can see, it brightens the brights, gives some punch to it, adds some contrast, drops the darks, and then gives some clarity to it as well. So I pretty much put that as a base on everything that I bring in, which you can do with Lightroom. It's extremely handy. And there's a lot of other options out there for, you know, like bringing in your stuff and kind of working on your workflow. Photo Mechanic's one of them, but Lightroom is probably by far my favorite that I've really taken the time to learn and kind of dig into. But I plan on having some tutorials and stuff like that on how to use Lightroom, because I've been using Lightroom since probably 4 years, maybe. I've been doing cosplay for 5 years, so yeah, probably 4 years, I'd say. And I think this is a lot. This is just a little too much over here on the side. It really kind of draws your eye away. So I'm going to take my exposure -2, and then that way I can kind of bring this over here, feather this in as I want to, and then this big flare right here. This bada bing bada boom. Kind of get rid of it. There we go. I'll brighten that up just a little bit in here. And we didn't use the fog in every shot. I think that would have been a little overkill on the stuff, but the ones that we did, I think it really adds something to it. It gives it something unique, and I just love the posing and the body positioning and stuff that we was able to do through this shoot. It was fantastic. Excuse me. Oh, it's fingers. Okay. I couldn't tell if it was a light stand or fingers or what. But yeah, one of my friends once told me, they was watching me edit, they said, "You're like a shadow bender." They said, "You kind of, you know, make everything shadows, and the only light that shows up is where you tell it to." I was like, I'm gonna put that on a t-shirt. I like that. Still haven't got around to actually doing that yet, but you know, soon, very soon. Okay, so this was a cool concept too. As you can see, she's got the mouth like right here, and they wanted to make it to where Carnage was there, kind of, you know, like looking scared, like Venom was getting ready to chomp down on his head. So we tried a few different poses of that, and with the first one, that still looks cool, but I like it better with the chin down, like over top of it, because it's hard to imagine. Okay, well this is here to here. This is, you know, like this is my mouth that I have to work with. So we took a few different poses, and that one right there is a little too bright, so I backed off the softbox. And if you ever see this hanging down in my unedited stuff, that's from my softbox. That's my Velcro strap that goes with it. It comes unhooked and doesn't always do what I tell it to do. So I told him to like reach towards me, kind of like you know, just like that's called foreshortening in comic books. If you notice, like the Incredible Hulk is specifically one of them that does it a lot, kind of like looming in and reaching forward and stuff. And that's kind of what I was wanting with this one. So I really like this one in particular. So I'm going to crop that in to get rid of most of that stuff. And you're going to use our exposure to drop this down, down, down and make it black. Because that is my style. Ooh. And I do see a leg over here. That's something that you will always deal with, is flash stand legs in the shot. Because it's like to get the right perspective on where the flash needs to be and everything, there's always a light stand in the freaking shot, unless you've got expensive ones, and I don't. Okay, so if you guys can see, the face up in here looks a little too bright So what we can do is whenever I, man, those abs look cool, dude. Look at that. Look at that. Love the coloring, how the coloring pops on that. Alright, so overall, the whites and the brights and stuff like that are just a little hot for my taste. So I'm going to come up here to my histogram and drag that all the way down. That's basically saying, okay, the absolute whitest part of this, we want to drag that down, and then usually the one below that is kind of the one that really makes the difference, because that's kind of where everything has been smushed into. So I'll take that down just a little bit too. Okay, there we go. Very happy with that one. And we got one of those good shots there. So here's a good example with these three here of adjusting for your lighting and stuff like that. I really like this shot, but it has the little flare that came across here, and it also had just like really hot spots over here. It's like really super white that are right in through here. So I backed off the flash just a little bit and had her tilt her head just a little bit more. And then I was able to bring this into Photoshop and take this one flare out. The cause of that, because of the shape, was a dirty spot on my lens. I'd accidentally bumped it with my finger. So that little smear, just that little bit of stuff on my fingers, was just enough to, whenever you put a light on it, to cause it to flare up like that. So I forgot that I'd had that one edited. I didn't put a 5 on that one. That was the one I fell asleep editing last night, actually. That one's not totally done. I fell asleep on my chair, and I woke up like 3 hours later, and I was just like, you know, so I used to do that a lot more. I haven't done that in a while, actually, ever since I got got my CPAP machine and kind of have to do that to survive. It's important not to fall asleep in my chair on things. So I really like the separation in this one too. The vignette. And after this one, I will probably pull up Jake's account and give you guys a quick run through of what and all I'll be working on tonight. Then maybe let you tag along for the first 2 or 3 edits until I can start uploading stuff to the website, because I'll need a little bit of privacy for that. Make sure no lens flares, no anywhere. Yeah, that body paint, Aaron, you freaking outdid yourself on that. I was immensely impressed, and I do not impress easily on that stuff. I've kind of seen a lot of stuff, so I've got a pretty high bar for being thoroughly impressed, but I was am. So yeah, this was Erin right here in the middle. She's an absolute beast with body paint and stuff like that. As you can see, she's pretty fun. She's got awesome hair, and yes, she is wearing an Overwatch. What is the Bastion bird called? I don't remember. It has a weird name that's really cool. I don't remember. I just heard it earlier on today. But anyway, she has a Bastion bird shirt. I'll edit that one later. Excuse me, dang. Alright, I think that's good for the night. So I'm going to go ahead and get that saved and switch catalogs, because my regular cosplay catalog's getting a little big, because I've got all of my 2017 and 2018 shoots in there. It used to be I had everything that I'd ever shot. Hey, there you go, you got her. But yeah, so I used to have everything that I've ever shot in there all the way back to 2013 actually, and I had to move that stuff to my archives because just the file size was getting so freaking huge. Like this is This is still the catalog, but it doesn't have the actual files in it. This is all of the cosplay specific shoots that I've done, and a convention counts as one of those. So conventions could have anywhere from 15 or 20 to upwards of 700 or 800 separate people that I've shot with while I'm there, if you count my turbo shoots, which I do, because they're pretty crazy. There we go. And I have a neat little plug-in that lets me kick out my favorite sets from Zenfolio, which is where I have my website stored. Having unlimited space and bandwidth and uploads is really nice, because I've got probably, I think, close to 400 gigabytes worth of just finished folders or finished files there. Just not video, not a lot of video, because they have a limit on the file size, and most of my stuff goes over that. So anyway, but yeah, so they've got a plug-in to where I can import all that good stuff. Hope it doesn't crash on me. Oh, here we go. Filter off. Oh wow, this is old. This is like way back in the day. See, so the bad thing is whenever I shoot, before I started renaming my files and stuff, it basically, I've shot so much that I kind of have went back around the horn on all the possible file names. So this is stuff that matches the selections that he had, but they're like years and years old. This was Brittany Ganoza. I don't know if it's going to pull it up, but that's the preview. Her Captain Hook was really cool, and that's the first time I'd ever went to Ren Fair. Is she offered to basically, buy my ticket and get some food and stuff like that for the day, and I'm like, heck yeah, that's a fair trade. Excuse me. Then here's some KatsuCon stuff that I did earlier on. But this is the stuff we're interested in tonight. This is my bud Jake. So he was doing Guts from Berserk, I think is the name of it. I don't watch it, but I've shot, believe it or not, I've shot like a lot of Berserk cosplay. It seems to be a pretty popular one this year. Not quite to the Attack on Titan phase that it was like 3 years ago. Good lord, the first year that movie came, or that show came out, there was freaking Attack on Titan stuff everywhere, and I didn't know what it was. I'm just like, I don't know what all these muscly naked people are running around, but they don't have skin, and that's a little weird. But it's Attack on Titan is cool, but it's a bit much as far as like the blood and stuff like that for my personal taste. But you do you, boo-boo. If that's what you like, ayy. And I really, really liked the level of detail that Jake was able to get in his armor, because if you zoom in and look at this, this was like individually wood burned. Each one of these little, whatever the heck those are, grooves, each one of those was individually wood burned. So there's a lot of detail to that. And I really, really like that shot. Try not to take too awful long on each picture, because I'm definitely not a 4 or 5 hour per picture guy, though I love it. I love to watch people do that, because that means that there are people out there that are giving something different than what I'm giving. I'm not one of those guys that like, okay, you have to do things my way is the best way. I see it like a buffet, man. And if cosplayers, if they're wanting a well-rounded portrayal of their costumes and stuff that they put so much work into, it's like, I can go over to this person and get this style. I can go to Wes and get this, like the dark punchy style. I can go over to this person, like my bud Kaminsky. I can go over to Kaminsky and get like the really detailed, like edits and the crazy Photoshop stuff. And I can go over to this person to get like that really light, airy, magical girl type look. And this person over here specializes in on site locations, and this one specializes in this. So Alexandra Lee, she does a lot of underwater shoots, which is really popular at Colossal Con West, because they've got the pools out there and stuff like that. And that's something that a couple people are starting to offer as far as cosplay goes. So I think that's just one more thing that cosplay photographers can offer their cosplayers. It's like, hey, if you work with me, this is something I bring to the table. So I think it's a really cool thing that we can offer so much to the cosplayers. So that's why it kind of breaks my heart a little bit whenever I see people arguing and fighting over, my way is the best way and yada yada yada. See if I can get Jake in here. Okay, there we go. I don't know if that'll call him or not. He may be at work. Like throwing up the bat signal. I love the intense look he got on his face in this. He was telling me about this particular point from the anime, and I'm like, wow, you got to go hard on this one, man. So he was like, ah! He was screaming during the shoot. We had such a good time. And that's another reason why I like shooting at the studio more than the convention floor. But both of them have their place. I like the surprise factor that you can get at the convention floor, because I mean, you come to a studio, you expect studio type pictures. You expect nice looking pictures as the end product, I hope. And but to be able to get stuff like that just on the con floor, that's one of my favorite things, is to shoot with somebody new and them go, you just took that here? I mean, that's awesome, because I tell people that probably my favorite thing about doing this is just being able to put some self-confidence into people that don't normally have it. They don't see themselves as, one girl was like, I look pretty, how did you make me look pretty? And she started crying, and I'm over there, it's like, don't cry, oh my god. But I always tell people that I just show you what you look like, man. This is the work that you all have put into your costumes, into your characters, into your makeup, and all of the props and stuff that goes into it. Everything is a small piece that kind of okay, that's what that is. Everything's a small piece that comes together to make something that's much, much greater than the sum of its parts. It multiplies. It doesn't just add. And then whenever you've got things like the weathering and stuff like that you start bringing in here. Hey. So I'll probably edit a couple more. I'll get into the Junkrat ones a little bit for you. This one was really cool. I was very happy with that. So this is my unfinished room in the back.
I'll get into the Junkrat ones a little bit for you.
I'll get into the Junkrat ones a little bit for you.
This one was really cool. I was very happy with that.
This one was really cool. I was very happy. This is my unfinished room in the back.
I'll get into the Junkrat ones a little bit for you.
I'll get into the Junkrat ones a little bit for you. I'll get into the Junkrat. This one was really cool. I was very happy. This is my unfinished room in the back. This is my unfinished. Get into the Junkrat. This one was really cool.